Hello my people, welcome to another tutorial. My name is Agnes. In case you are new to this channel, you're welcome. In today's tutorial I will show you how I made this off the shoulder dress. I used two colors. I used the white and the blue combined together, but I think it would also look great in one color. I can imagine it in black, and I think it would really look pretty in black. So we are going to be using our bust measurements and our hips measurements. So if you have those, then you will be able to make it in your size, and it's quite easy. It's single crochet stitches, so if you know how to make a single crochet, then you should be good to go. I'm recording this and just read a comment on one of my posts, someone saying, why is there a phone always in your face? And and I have a phone in my face right now, but it's because nobody takes my pictures. I take my pictures in the mirror, so there is always a phone there. So anyway, let's get into the tutorial. We'll need scissors, a tape measure, we'll need that, and we are going to need a hook size. Because I'm using double strand, I'll be using a 6mm hook size. Okay, so yeah, you cannot see it, but it's a 6mm hook size. Okay, so for the yarn, I'm doubling my strand. I'm using both blue and white, and the size of each yarn is size 3, so I'm doubling them up. This is from Volido. It's Mila. It's 50 grams each, 133 meters, and I'm not sure how many I used. I think I will link it when I get to know, but it recommends 3.5 each, but since I'm using two strands, I will be using a 6mm hook. So we are going to work this dress like this. We'll start from the bust. We will work single crochets every row from side to side, and then join it together. Once we join that part together, then we'll start working single crochets all the way down, make some increases around here, and once we are done with that, we will make this panel here for the off the shoulder, then join it together and then join it to the dress. It's quite simple. And then leave these armholes here, and yeah, and then we'll be done. It's all in single crochet, so you should be good to go. Let's start with the bust. So for the bust, you are going to measure from your underarm to your high waist. Okay, and then you'll make a slip knot, and that measurement you will make a chain equivalent to that measurement. We are working from side to side for the bust, so I will make a chain equivalent to my measurements, that is from my underarm to my high waist, and for me it's 8 inches. I'm a size extra small, and I am height 155 centimeters. So I'm short, just for reference. Okay, so make your chain, and we are going to be working with single crochets. This is how mine looks like. This dress is fast to do because we're working with two strands. I made this in like 2 days, and less than in 10 hours or less. So I have my 8 inches. So this will be the length from our underarm to our high waist. Okay, so we are going to start on row 1, and we are going to skip the very first stitch. Okay, skip the very first stitch and go into the second stitch to make a single crochet. So go into the second stitch, make a single crochet, go into your third stitch, make a single crochet, and I'm going to work single crochets till I get to the end of this chain. So work 1 single crochet in every chain until you get to the end, and I will see you at the end. Coming to the end, and this is going to be my last single crochet. Okay, so this is end of row 1. This is how it looks like, and now we're going to go to row 2. So for row 2, we are going to chain one chain, then we're going to turn our work, and in this very first stitch right here, you can see it, we are going to make a single crochet. We are working in both loops. Okay, we are working in both loops, so you're going to make a single crochet, and you're going to go into the next stitch, make a single crochet, and into the next one make a single crochet, and basically it's going to be a row of single crochets until the end. So make one single crochet in every stitch, and I'll see you at the end of the row here. So I'm coming to the end and I have 2 stitches left, so that's 1, and then this last one, you always see these 2 loops there. Don't leave it out, otherwise your work will not be straight. So you can always count your stitches, they're not many, to make sure you're making the same number of stitches on every row. So you're going to chain a 1, turn your work, and begin on row 3, and it's a row of single crochets just like row 2. So make 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get to the end, and basically it is a simple pattern like that. So single crochets in every stitch until you get to the end, chain 1, turn your work, repeat, and we are going to repeat this until we have our bust measurements minus 10 inches, because this stretches a lot and you want it to be tight around your bust. So measure your bust measurements, take your tape measure, put it around your bust, know how long that is. Mine is 32 inches. Okay, 32 inches minus 10, I will make 22 inches. Okay, do the same for yourself. So I'm done with my 22 inches, and this is how long it is. Okay, so we need to join this to make our top. So I had 32 inches of my bust measurements. That's my bust measurement. So when I take away 10, subtract 10 inches, and then I remain with 22. So also if you have, I don't know, bust measurements of 36 and you take away 10, then you'll chain 26. If you have bust measurements of 40 and you take away 10, you will crochet 30 inches. All right, so we are going to join this together to make that cube top first. Okay, and you can wear this as a cube top also, you know. So let's see. I'll just use any joining method. If you have a different one, that's okay. So I'll just be going in from the behind and just weave through both stitches. If you don't have a darning needle, you can use slip stitches using your hook, so it's all right. This is nothing should stop you. I'm recording this in the car. I don't know if you can hear the noise. I hope not. The voiceover, of course, I recorded this before. This is just the voiceover. I'm from the dentist and my mouth is still a bit numb. I hope I don't sound funny. So anyway, sew this together and I'll see you once you're done. Okay. So I'm done, and this is how it looks like. This is our cube top, and now I want us to work single crochets around it. Okay, so we are going to reattach our yarn anywhere. I will just attach it where I ended the joining, and once you reattach, I'm going to chain 1, make a single crochet in that very same stitch, and I'm going to make single crochets in every stitch. So can you see the stitches? You will be able to see them. So 1 single crochet in every stitch. It's hard for you to see exactly what I'm doing when I'm working with this yarn. But you'll see the spaces when you're working. In every stitch, make 1 single crochet. All right, do that, and I'll meet you at the end of the round, because now it's going round. Okay, so this is me trying on the cube top to see how it fits, and it's fitting perfectly. So yeah, let's continue. So I'm coming to the end, and I'm going to end this round with a slip stitch. So I'll go on top of the first single crochet stitch and then make a slip stitch like that, then chain 1, and we are going to start on round 2. So we are going to be working in one direction. Before we were changing, and if you want the same pattern like you had before, then you can, you know, always change after every row, turn your work after every row. But if you want to just work like mine, then you just work in one direction. Okay, it doesn't matter, you could change your after every row, then it will give you the same texture as the top, or you could just work in one direction. I'll be working in one direction. Okay, so we are going to make single crochets in every stitch until we get to the end of this round. So it's just single crochets, and I will meet you once you've gone around with single crochets. Okay, okay, so I'm coming to the end, and this is my last stitch here, and then we're going to close it off with a slip stitch on top of the single crochet. So you're going to slip stitch to finish the round, and we are going to work on round 2. So chain 1, and we're going to be making increases for this round. So we are increasing after every 10th stitch. Okay, so I'll make 9 single crochets and then make an increase. I did this for 5 rows, but then after that I did a row of where I'm increasing in every 5th stitch. But you can do it vice versa. I think it would look better if you do a row where you're doing one round where you're doing increases in every 5th stitch, and then go to where you're doing increases after in every 10th stitch. Or you can just do it like me. But if I were to do this dress later, I would change it like that. Begin with after every 5th stitch, do only one row and then change it. But for what I'm doing now, how I did my dress, I did 9 stitches and then made an increase. So 2 stitches in 1 stitch. That's how we make the increase. And then you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10. In the 10th you make an increase. And then an increase in the 10th stitch. Okay, you make an increase by putting 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. Okay, and I'll meet you at the end. So I'm coming to the end. I have an increase here because I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stitches. Okay, so close this off with a slip stitch on top of the first single crochet, and then chain 1, and we are going to repeat the same thing. So 9 stitches. In the 10th stitch, make an increase. And if you did what I told you after every 5 stitches, then now you'd start after every 10th stitch. Okay, because with the 5 it was just one row of that. Okay, so you are going to repeat this until the end of the round. So 9 stitches, then an increase, 9 stitches, then make an increase in the 10th stitch. Okay, I'll meet you here. So I came to the end, and this is going to where our round ends. So slip stitch on top of the first single crochet and repeat the pattern. So you're going to chain 1, insert a single crochet, and you're going to make increase in every 10th stitch, and you're going to do this until you have a total number of 5 rounds of increase. Okay, and then I'll come and then we do that increase where we do in every 5th stitch. All right, so 1 2 3 4 5, and now we are going to do the one that I was telling you about, where I chain 1, then make 4 single crochets, and in the 5th an increase. Okay, so that's 1 2 3 4, and then we make an increase. So I'll put 2 single crochets in that stitch and then repeat. So if you did this at the beginning, you will now just continue and do this one with the 10, increase in every 10th. So it's 1 row of where we're increasing in 5th, and then 5 rows where we're increasing in every 10th. Okay, so I'm done, and this is how it looks like. Now we're going to change the increases. So I put stitch markers on every side. This will be one of my sides, like on the hip side. Okay, and another stitch marker on this other side. Okay, so from now on we are only going to be increasing 2 stitches on every side. Okay, so in the end it will be a total number of 4 increases on both sides. So you're going to chain 1, and you're going to make a single crochet. It doesn't have to be in that very first stitch. Okay, it can be like in the 3rd stitch or something. So I will put it in the 2nd stitch, and then the other increase I'll put it when I come back all the way when I'm ending the row. Okay, so that's a little bit balanced. So you're going to make 1 single crochet in every stitch until you get to this side where you have your other stitch mark. I'll put mine, the 2nd one, here, but we have on this side we need to put 2, so you will also put 2 increases around here, and I'll see you at the end. So I went all the way. I came to this other hip side. Okay, so now I'm going to make my 2 increases. So I'll put 1 here, then crochet a few stitches because I don't want it to be right next to each other. So that's 2, and then that's where my stitch marker is. I will leave it there just for reference to see where I started. So just leave a few stitches in between and then make my 2nd increase on that side. Okay, so on this side I've made 2 increases. On the other side I only made 1 at the beginning, so I'll make 1 at the end just to balance it. So once I make increases on the other side to make it 2, the next row I will not make any increase. So it's going to be, this is where I started increasing. I made an increase here, and then the next row you don't make an increase, and then the 3rd row you make an increase, and then the next you don't make an increase, like that. So you increase every other row. Okay, we are increasing every other row, not in every row but every other row. So just to show you, so I started increasing on this row. Okay, this next row I didn't make an increase. Let me move this closer, maybe you can see it. So this is where I started. I made an increase here. The next row, this row made 2 increases on both sides, and then the next row no increase at all, and then the next 2 increases on both sides, and the next no increase at all, and then the next 2 increases on both sides. Okay, and you are going to do this until you can measure, you get your hips measurements plus 3 inches. So your hips measurements plus 3 inches, and this is how I get to my hips measurements is 33 plus 3 inches, that is 36. Okay, that if it is all round, okay? But if you're measuring from, say, from one side to another side, of course, that's that for me will be 18, okay? So one side to another side for me will be 18. So first get your hips measurements, add 3 inches, that number, half of it, because you are measuring from side to side. So for me it will be 18, and 18, if I put another 18 for the other side, it will be 36. Okay, so hips measurements plus 3 inches. Okay, I hope you get it. Just you have to keep measuring from side to side to side, and find that you have that, because our dress is not fitting our hips. It's kind of bigger than our hips around there. So if you want it a little big, more flared, then you add more inches, as in keep increasing. You can add 5 inches, but I added only 3. You can add 5, you can add, I don't know how big you want it to look. So all right, so from here on we are just going to go straight, and we'll be only increasing 1 stitch in every 10th row. No, every 5th row, not 10th. So 1 stitch only on both sides. So 1 stitch on one side, increase, go to the other hip side, 1 stitch on every 5th row. Okay, so you do 4 rows of no increase, and then in the 5th row you increase only 1 stitch on each side. Okay, so this is me just trying to see how it looks before I continue. Okay, and yeah, I'm done. I did increases in every 5th row, only 1 stitch on each side, and this is how it looks. I like the height of it, so I will stop at that. If you want it longer, you can continue, but I just wanted it short. Okay, so this is my dress, and now I need to put the off the shoulder. You can do without it, by the way, but I wanted it. So from here, this is, I just need to explain it a little bit more. From here I was doing 4 rows of no increase, and then in the 5th row I was making 1 increase on each side. 4 rows of no increase, and then in the 5th row 1 increase on each side. Okay, so just continue to do that until I got to the height that I wanted, and that is it. Okay, so if you want it a little bit bigger, then you can increase 2 stitches if you want that, or whatever. Okay, so now my dress, did I tell you the length of my dress? I think it's 21 inches. Yeah, I did 21 inches for length, but now we need to correct up here, make it look nice. Okay, so I'm going to change the hook size. I will go 1 size smaller, so I'll be using a 5mm hook, and I'm going to reattach my yarn up here, and then I'm going to work single crochets in every stitch, just to make it clean, so that it's easier for us to attach the other part that we want to attach, the off shoulder part. Okay, so chain 1 and go into the very first stitch and make a single crochet. So you're going to make single crochets in every stitch until you get to the end of the round, and once you get to the end of the round, close it off, and I will meet you there. Okay, so I'm coming to the end, and I'm just going to close it off with a slip stitch, and that's it. Okay, so in this case, if it's not really fitting your bust so nicely like you want it, you can always put a drawstring in, and you tie it through the inside of the dress. Okay, and if you're someone that doesn't want the off shoulder, I would say I would put another row of single crochets that to make it tighter. But yeah, this will be it for now. So I'll show you how long my dress is. It's 21 inches long, so you can make yours longer. I like short, so yeah, that shouldn't limit you and think, oh, you can only make it short. No, you can make it longer. Okay, so now we are going to work on the shoulder part. It's going to be single crochet, so I will not show you because it's like what we did for the tube top. However, the length of this is going to be the length of your bust measurements, okay? So those bust measurements that you had put aside, this is now, you're going to make this as long as your bust measurements. My bust measurements is 32, but the width is 10 inches for me, okay? I not 10 inches, but 10 stitches. So I chained 11 stitches and then did 10 single crochets. Okay, that's the width. You can make it wider if you want, but as for how it fits around our shoulders, it is our bust measurement. So my 10 stitches are equivalent of 4 inches. You can make this wider if you want, maybe 5 inches, or I don't know, it's up to you, or smaller. So we are now going to join this to both ends together, but you are going to first determine which side you like best. I think I'll be joining on the wrong side, so, and then you can just turn it inside out to, you know. So let's join both ends together. So I am going to be using slip stitches for this. So slip stitch in every stitch until you get to the end. And we're going to chain one, then turn this inside out, or out inside out, and then we work single crochets around just to clean it off and make sure it's easier to attach to the other piece. So I'll be working one single crochet in every stitch until I get back to where I started. So all around, okay? Chain one and then single crochets. So work single crochets until you get to the end. I'll meet you here. Once you get there, close it off, and this is how it should look like. Close it off with a slip stitch, and this is how it should look like. So we are going to attach this to our main dress, okay? So let's do that. So I put stitch markers. I'm leaving about 6 stitches in between. Here, this is where our sleeve will be, so I'm leaving 6 stitches in between. So I put the stitch mark in 7th. That's from side to side, okay, like this. So, and also this side, so 3 stitches on the front, 3 stitches on the back, 3 stitches in the front, 3 stitches on the back. If you're doing a bigger size, you can leave 4 stitches, or if you're doing like an XXL, you can leave 5 stitches if you're leaving like XXXL, okay? So I'll put my dress in like this, and I'm working on the right side, okay? So I put my dress in like this. You can count your stitches and see, you know, make sure it's in the middle. And I'll be using a 5.0 millimeter hook, and we are going to join using slip stitches. So I'll start from where my first stitch marker is, okay? So I will reattach my yarn where my stitch marker is, and I'm going to join the the shoulder off shoulder part with the dress, okay, using slip stitches. And I'm using just blue here because I felt like it. So I'll go in with slip stitches in every stitch until I get to where my other stitch marker is. So on this side, make sure you're leaving the same number of rows on this side, same as the number of rows on this side, otherwise it will not be equal, okay? From your stitch marker to the end, and also from the stitch marker to the other end, same number of rows. So you are just going to slip stitch until you get to the left side where your stitch marker is, and then I'll meet you there. So I came all the way. This is where my other stitch marker is, and now we need to only slip stitch where the outer part, because we are not joining, otherwise your sleeve, we need to leave that sleeve part, okay? So we are only slip stitching on top of this outside part until we get to where our stitch marker is at the back here, and then we can rejoin, okay? So just work slip stitches. Once you get to that behind stitch marker, rejoin the two pieces, and then you get to the other stitch markers here. Then don't join and work only in the outside until the end, okay? So I went all around, as you can see, and we'll just take off the stitch markers, of course, and sew in our ends. I think this should be the end. There's nothing else. So if you want, you can add like another row of whatever, I don't know, but yeah. So you can wear the dress down looking like this, or you can put this shoulder part all the way up, okay? So it's really up to you. I think I did it, some of the pictures you'll see it's a little bit different. So anyway, this is how it looks like in the end. I hope you like it, and I think it's fancy. It looks fancy, it actually does. So yeah, this is how I styled it, and yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe, share, and for those who support me through my PayPal and my membership, thank you so much. I all see you and I appreciate you so much. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye guys.